to love everyone. Treat people with respect, be kind, do good, and give back. I was a teenager before I realized that those values were not instilled in all people. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and it's not uncommon to hear of mistreatment in an inner city of mostly Black people. As a teenager, I quickly realized that people were treated differently, not because of their personality, not because of their character or their integrity, but simply based on how they looked. In high school, I can recall my Spanish teacher saying "estúpida" after I asked him a question. My parents, of course, were outraged, and the school administration assured my parents that the situation would be taken care of. I unfortunately had to sit the rest of the semester with this teacher, feeling very uncomfortable and feeling as though I didn't belong. I'm a woman in corporate America. I'm also a woman in STEM, which can bring challenges. But when you add the intersection of being a Black woman in corporate America and in STEM, well, it can lead to some interesting conversations. I didn't realize that I was a young, Black, successful woman in corporate America until Americans told me that I was a young, Black, successful woman in corporate America. There are times where I had to silence myself and not speak up and not use my voice for fear that I would be characterized as overly emotional or an angry Black woman. So why do I share these stories? Well, I promise that it's not to evoke any emotion from you, it's not to evoke compassion, but it is to provide an understanding and education on why belonging is so important. I have had experiences in my life where I felt like I did not belong. Moments where I felt like I wasn't involved or connected, and I want to change that for the rest of the world. So to ensure we're all working from the same foundation, I want to define belonging. So belonging is feeling seen, recognized, respected, valued, and appreciated. It's moments where you have ownership and agency and you're a co-creator to help make change and even potentially change the world. What I consider what the science of belonging is, I think it comes down to connection, safety, and feeling whole. As human beings, we have a need to feel connected. Connections make us happier. Connections make us feel less stressed. As human beings, we have a need to feel safety. Safety to be able to use your voice. Safety to be able to voice your opinion without fear of consequences or repercussions. And as human beings, we want to feel whole. Spaces where I can walk into rooms and be my authentic self are the best types of moments. I perform my best when I'm able to walk in as my vulnerable self and give an environment or a space everything about me, all the pieces that make me unique and perfect. When I think about my career in STEM, I worked at a company for 25 years. And when I consider why I stayed there for so long, because that's a very long time, it all comes down to belonging. They created a space where I felt like I belonged to something bigger. So I stumbled across my career. I was in college completing my undergraduate studies, and I really just needed a job. I wanted to get an apartment, my parents didn't want to pay for it, and so I had to find a job, and I stumbled across this large research organization. To be very clear, research was not on my bingo card. I did not have visibility into being a social scientist. It wasn't something that I said I wanted to be when I grew up. I stumbled across the career that I'm in right now. And I have been able to do amazing things within that career. And when I graduated, I was hired as a full-time employee as a project supervisor. And 25 years later, I've been able to do amazing things. One, I'm a social scientist. I have the privilege of working on large-scale research projects for the federal government. These projects are changing the world and improving the human condition. I have the opportunity to work in the university collaboration space where we're thinking about the relationships that research has with universities and thinking about how to create spaces where we convene and spaces where we can partner and work together. I've had an opportunity to be an HBCU champion. I graduated from North Carolina Central University, where eagles fly high and soar. I've had an opportunity to be a champion in those spaces and show the real value that historically Black colleges and universities bring to the table. I've had an opportunity to be a community leader. I serve on many boards, and I am able to volunteer my services in order to improve the human condition and change lives. I've also done a lot of scientific stature and professional development. I've written papers, I've co-authored papers, and I've presented research in many spaces, in many conferences, and many events. So honestly, throughout my career, I've experienced a lot of spaces where I felt like I belonged. And contrary to the examples that I gave earlier, those were just moments in my career where I did not feel like I belonged, but if I had to just really lay it all out, there are 50 times more moments where I felt like I did belong and that I was a part of something bigger. But I stand here before you today on behalf of the many people that have felt discounted, unheard, unrecognized, and undervalued. I stand here as a representative of people whose work hasn't been recognized and they're looking for their place or their space in the environment. I stand here for you on behalf of somebody who does belong and wants to create a space where other people can belong also. In April of 2025, I started my own company, FEW Strategic Solutions. In my organization, I get to think about the hard problems that everyday people and organizations are facing, and I get to help you provide solutions to those problems. And one day, guess what? I will have an opportunity to create a culture of belonging for my employees. Right now, I'm an employee of one, but eventually I will have employees, and it will be my honor and privilege to be able to create an environment where they feel respected, wanted, needed, desired, and recognized. And I want to encourage all of you all to create spaces where you make people feel like they belong. It's so important. We all play an individual role in making a difference. When I think about the legacy and the life of Dr. Martin Luther King, I oftentimes remember that he was just a person who wanted to make individual impact. He just wanted to help change the world. He didn't realize that historians and commentators would write about him. He didn't realize that people would glorify him and have a Dr. Martin Luther King Day where we celebrate his birthday and his accomplishments. He did not know. All he knew was that he wanted to make a difference in the world, and he was willing to do his individual part to make change and be impactful. That's how I want to show up in the world. That's how I want you all to show up in the world. I truly believe that we all can do our part to make an individual difference in the world, and once our individual roles come together, the whole that we create will be beautiful. I believe that we can change the world, we can be the change, and we can make a difference. And it starts with a yes. Thank you.